That shit was like pulling up.
Oh, okay. Whoa. And then we had made it out.
We had made it out.
Let me just say this real quick. I do not promote violence. But even though this episode, this recap is probably going to sound like I do. Tommie, let me just tell y'all this. It's Tommie shit. But let me just tell y'all this. There is not too many people that I love that I don't know than Tommie. There's not too many people out here that I can say that I love, that I do not love, or that I do not know, other than this one. People don't want to call me biased when it comes to Jayla. This one right here is the one that might be more applicable. I love me some Tommie. And Tommie single-handedly made this show pop in a way. Like, she gave us new storylines, as we see next week. But her aura, like, that's why it took me it's literally 7:53. I turned the episode on when it dropped at 6 o'clock. I just now finished doing my notes because I kept rewinding it back. Her aura, she had a whole house pissed off by her presence. But we'll get into it. If y'all are new here, please hit subscribe right now. Just do it right now. Thumbs up the video right now real quick because we're going to be here for a minute. I'm going to take my time with this one. Get in the comments. Those of y'all that know, I know y'all will. But if you're new, drop your comments as well. This one was a doozy, and we about to get into it. But it's Tommie shit. Let's go. All right, so we start off where we are the entire episode. At the backyard pit where they have all the chairs and in the fire pit. And you got Dolly, she's back, sitting there with her hand wrapped up. Slim is now gone. Lex, Paula, Nunu, and Dolly, they're outside sitting there talking about St. Louis or whatever. Natalie, Summer, and Jasmine, they join them outside by the fire. And Natalie pretty much lets them know that they're going to have a house meeting tonight. And then they're going to go out and says that they need to go get dressed and get ready. And then they'll have the meeting whenever she brings the guest in because she's got a guest coming as well. So they head off to go get ready. A lot of them still look the same if you asking me. But we get to the meeting. And hopefully I can get through this. I typed, but I wasn't paying attention to what I was typing. So hopefully I can read it, but we'll get through it. But everybody, they're outside by the fire now. And Natalie's talking about how her, Rollie, and Jayla went to the radio station earlier in the day. She then moves to addressing Nunu fighting Biggie. And Nunu was like, yeah, I fought Smalley. Talking about Biggie, but pretty much saying like she's small. Like she ain't, her name is Biggie, but like it should be Smalley. But Anna's over there talking about something. It's Biggie. And Nunu ends up saying we got in the paint, handled it like real women, and we're going to do it again. Basically saying if she want to do it again, we're going to do it again. But Anna then bops Summer and says like, and Summer going to mind her business. Exactly. She needs to. Like pretty much saying like, mind your own business. Stop trying to jump in everybody else's shit. And Anna ends up saying, like, what Summer's not going to do is keep being in people's business, which I agree. But Summer sitting there piping up. Anna ends up saying nobody going to keep beating on the same girl, a.k.a. we're not going to keep beating your ass. But Natalie ends up asking where Dolly is, and Tink says bruised. Natalie says from what? Tink says Paula, who was sitting next to her, broke her nose. And they're like, what? And Lex is like, no, it's from the auditions. Her nose was never healed. Paula in her confessional says, sorry, Dolly, I didn't mean to beat your ass so bad that I re-broke your nose. That was funny. So they then end up asking Paula what happened or whatnot. And Paula ends up telling telling the rest of them how Emma had texted her asking about what they had been saying about her. And she told them that they said that she was ugly. Natalie's sitting there saying, so you mean to tell me that you've been telling her what we've been saying when she's not there? That's kind of weird. No, it's not weird. What's weird is y'all talking about a bitch who is not there. Like, why are you talking about somebody who's not there? That's weirdo behavior. That means that Emma is not somebody that you need to be sitting around talking about. Like, y'all are the weirdos talking about somebody who's not there for you to even say it to. And she's not weird for that. Paula would have been weird if she was cool and kicking it with Paula to then smile back in her face and know that these bitches was talking about her, and you asked me, was X, Y, and Z talking about me, and I know that they were and didn't say anything to you. Granted, she don't owe her that because she's not friends with her, but they were cool on the show. So if you cool on the show, you can at least say that, especially when it's bitches that you don't fuck with. And then like they said it to her. So what you mad about? But Summer ends up talking about how Summer saying yes, like she did say that. And Paula said no, she was still here whenever it happened. And Anna ends up saying no, she wasn't talking about telling Natalie, she wasn't talking about what we were saying. She was talking about what them two, talking about Dolly and Summer was saying. I said exactly. But Natalie ends up saying whatever happens in this house stays in this house. I said, do you not realize you're on a TV show? Everything that happens in that house is being seen by people that watch the show. Like, shut up. Just shut up. But Dolly, she's suddenly back because they didn't even show her enter, but she's there and she's not going back and forth with Paula. And Paula says there's nothing to be mad about because you said it to her, so why are you mad? Literally. But Dolly ends up saying like she's over Paula because she does too much talking. She does too much and she's speaking on her when she ain't even there, and then proceeds to say that she lives rent-free in Paula's head. Pot calling the kettle black because first of all, she was asked about you because they were wondering where you were. Then Tink then says that she broke your nose, and then they asked what happened. Then Paula elaborated on what happened and why it happened. The only person that lives rent-free is Paula in your brain because you decided to always have an issue with her over something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. And Paula don't really think about you because Paula ain't pressing you. Every time y'all fought is because you have come to her. So who's really living rent-free? But Natalie, she ends up asking who won. And Tinkabellaaa says she didn't see the first round, but the second round Paula won. And Dolly pretty much admits it, but gives some excuses as to why she lost. It's like, save it. But Paula ends up saying that Dolly was trying to choke her. Dolly says, you're a lie. Dolly then gets up and tells P to get up. And Paula said, I'm not about to fight you because I done fought you 5 times already. Don't call that copping, please, y'all, because it's true. Like, who's got the best of who? Like, we want to keep it real and we count the tallies. First round, the first fight they've ever done, Dolly definitely got Paula. The second round, which would have been the first round in the yard that night, it was a tie. So that's 1 to Dolly, tie. Third round, which was the second round outside, Paula got Dolly. So that's 1 Paula, 1 Dolly, tie. Then we go to the first round, which to me was a tie. So that's 2 ties, 1 Paula, 1 Dolly. The last round that they fought, Paula won. So it's 2 Paula, 1 Dolly, 2 ties. 5 times, nothing more. Like, what else is there to do? There's nothing else to do. There's no score to even because it is even. At this point, it's even. Like, it's the best of 5. And Paula won more. You tied the other, and then you got 1 Dolly. Like, shut up. But Natalie ends up going to Dolly because Dolly's now pressing pressing Paula at this point. And says, like, you only have 1 hand. Like, you got 1 hand. And I'm like, the minute they start fighting, she going to start hollering about that hand hurt. And I'm like, just sit down, Dolly. But she's still sitting there trying to press Paula. And Paula says exactly what I've been saying since she's been fighting her. This bitch, Tink, threw liquor on you. And this bitch right here, Tasiki, fought you. Pretty much saying, like, you want to fight with me, but you still got 2 bitches over here who you have an issue with and have a right to want to fight. And you too busy worried about me over some shit that has nothing to do with you. Like, Paula was clocking him. But Dolly claims that, and she said it too, she said when they, talking about her and Tasiki, when they hands was right, they gonna handle that. Tasiki said, yeah, me and Dolly got a deal. Don't bring me into that. She said that she want to fight you, talking about Paula, saying don't bring me into that. I said, Tasiki, what is this? Are you copping a plea? Is that what that is? I know Tasiki can beat her, and I know Tasiki knows she can, but that looked like copping a plea to me. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But Tasiki then gets in her confessionals and says, Dolly, watch her mouth. You should have said that to her in that moment, Tasiki. Don't say that in the confessional. Say it in the moment. But Natalie then moves on to Rollie bullying Slim. She didn't say that, but she was hyping it up. But we're going to call it a spade because Rollie was bullying Slim. And yes, it has nothing to do with her skin complexion. Bullying is bullying. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. That bitch was bullying that girl. But Rollie's fat ass, she gets to talking about how she hasn't served an eviction notice in a while. We know you want to do it because you've been served them plenty of times. But they start talking about Slim leaving. Noodle says, like, Slim came all this way just to let Rollie force her out, which I'm like, I get that too, but she left. She should have left. She should have been left. But leaving on that note, yeah, I wouldn't have left like she did. I'm going to tell you that much. I'd have left in handcuffs because Rollie would have been leaving and going to the hospital. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But Jayla taking up for Rollie again. Like, Jayla, you disappointing me. Like, sitting there saying, like, just pretty much like taking up for Rollie. Just completely taking up for Rollie, making it seem like Slim ran her course. Like, Jayla, that's whack. Like, You supposed to be better than that, and that's weak as fuck. Like, weak as fuck, and it's crazy considering what's about to happen now, as we saw foreshadow. Like, Jayla, egg on your face, and you looking stupid. But Jaden, she ends up asking where Ivory is because she got a crush on her. Next. Natalie ends up saying that Ivory was in court in LA, but she'll be back. But she also then says tomorrow there's an elimination and not everybody's going to be on this baddie vacation, which is Hawaii. Jayla then asked some stupid question talking about someone, what does it take to be on this baddie's trip? I said, Jayla, please, y'all are grown women. If I'm not invited to go on vacation with y'all, I'm not tap dancing for no trip to go to damn Hawaii. Fuck that. If you want to send me home, send me home. I'm not doing nothing to get on a trip. If you don't want me, you don't want me. But Summer starts turning around, bending over, doing what I wouldn't do. But Jayla called her a dirty bitch. She is one. But they start talking about what it takes to be on a baddie vacation. Boring. Jayla ends up saying that Summer is a corny ass bitch who always wants to get in somebody else's business, reporting live from it. True. But Natalie then asks who likes Summer. Some of them raise their hands, and then she ends up asking Jasmine, knowing that Jasmine don't like her. And Jasmine said, I don't care for her. And Summer ends up saying, well, I don't care about that trash bag that you're wearing. Call it what you want to call it. Jasmine looked good. Her hair, as y'all say, hair laid. Like the black that she had on looked pretty well spent. Like she looked good. Whereas you got Summer, who's supposed to have changed, wearing a one-piece bodysuit that looked like she got it from a thrift store, wearing the same wig she been wearing, which apparently is not even hers. It's not comparable. You can't compare the two. But Lex ends up saying that Summer can't help her. She's saying this in her confessional. That Summer can't help herself, can't help but be herself, and got everybody else mad. What are you talking about? She's annoying. That's why people don't fuck with her and are irritated with her, because she's aggravating. She's like a gnat. She's too grown. 28 years old grown to be acting the way she does. And Jasmine's not mad. And like Jasmine said, I'm not mad because they sitting there trying to act like Jasmine is mad. Jasmine is sitting there chill, cool, calm, unbothered. She says, I'm not mad. And Summer sitting there talking about, well, Jasmine's wig, which is fresh, healthy. Yours is stiff, tired. Tired. But Natalie ends up saying somebody isn't going on vacation between the two of them. And I'm like, you need to send Summer home. Saying because it's too much what's going on with y'all. Jasmine does not bother Summer. Anytime it's too much is because Summer is starting with Jasmine. So if anybody needs to go home, it's her, because she's the one starting the shit. But Natalie then talks about the special guest. I said, finally, my girl's coming. But Biggie ends up saying that she's been waiting all season for this and looked over and said that Akbar's shoes was off. Biggie, I don't agree with you on a lot of things, but I'm right here with you. I've been waiting on Tommie too. That's the reason why a lot of us are still watching the show. But Akbar, she gets up and she's fanning her hands over the fire because she knows you don't know what you about to get with Tommie. But Natalie ends up saying Tommie's meeting them there to go to the club. Tasiki says, let her come in and hash it out, and because we never get to go to the club when it comes to Tommie. And then Rollie gets her fat ass in her confessional talking about Crackosaurus is coming here, and we don't need the city to get burnt down by a crackhead. Akbar says, where is she? Natalie says she's coming. They're all visibly nervous. It's just funny. Tommie ain't even there yet, and she already got these bitches reevaluating how they want to act. They're all sitting up straight a little bit now, and they're all a little bit nervous. I'm like, when you that bitch, you just do that shit. But Jayla says that she knows some shit's about to go down, and Akbar ends up saying in her confessionals, I don't want to keep dwelling. She said dwelling. Illiterate. It's dwelling. But she says she's looking to have a conversation with Tommie, but she never knows. Like, Tommie could be on some type of crazy shit, which we all know that to be true. She has 38 mugshots for a reason. But she ends up saying that they can talk like they're grown, but if she wants to be on that type of time, they can. Tink then says it's respect. Like, she tried to play with me at the reunion making a joke, but she spoke to me before the reunion, which I'm assuming she probably said, like, what's up? Like, that's it. And then we'll get to it later on. But Tinkabellaaa, it's a one-sided beef. It's just like Jayla. It's just like Jayla with Summer. The only difference is she actually had an interaction with Tommie. It's still a one-sided beef. Tommie don't think about you. You trying to get clout off of Tommie, but we'll get to it. But Akbar ends up saying, well, no, because Tink ends up saying, I don't do the disrespect, don't disrespect me, just like Akbar did. And Akbar says, I didn't disrespect you. Tink says you did. You tried talking to me like you was my mama. I said, that's a personal problem. You just didn't like the way she spoke to you, but she spoke to you and matched your energy. Because they showed a flashback Akbar was talking cool, calm, and collected, but also she was obviously agitated because Tinkabellaaa started with her because Tinkabellaaa was looking for a moment, and Akbar pretty much checked it and was like, this is not the time to do this, because we was at that, when they was at the damn, what you call the place? Where you break shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But they start going back and forth about nothing. I was not spending my time trying to dissect what the two C characters and F character was talking about. Don't nobody care about that. We want to see Tommie. So Nunu ends up saying what I was thinking. This ain't the time for that. Save that energy for the intruder, aka Tommie. And I said they're gonna need that energy. But Rollie's big ass starts talking about how she don't know what Tommie is coming in on, but hopefully she don't come in running her mouth again, because that's what. And then she started, like, she wanted to say what she eventually said is that's why she got fucked up, because she ran her mouth, but she whispered it. She kind of stuttered into saying it and then whispered it, which is funny because, like I wrote in parentheses, she didn't get fucked up because your fat ass can't fight. But Zeus immediately shows the playback at the reunion where they were fighting, and Tommie's pulling Rollie's bonnet down over her face and was about to get them haymakers out. And it shows what? Zeus security protecting and stopping Rollie from getting her ass whooped. Rollie didn't land not one punch on Tommie. If you watch that flashback back, Tommie was controlling Rollie. So that's why you didn't want to say it with your chest like you normally and always do about any and everything. Like, Rollie's a loser. But Zeus then shows that flashback, like I said. Rollie ends up saying that Tinkabellaaa and Akbar's situation wasn't even handled. So they start going back and forth, arguing about nothing. Don't nobody care. But Tink starts talking greasy. Akbar starts telling her, I wish you would, da-da-da-da. But Tink ends up saying that she's giving Akbar two options, and that's to either fight Tommie when she comes or to fight her. I said, who are you? You can't even fight. But Natalie, she ends up saying that her and Tommie got over their issue. Rollie then butts in and says she's feeling like Natalie's been lacking and letting bitches slide. Scotty ends up saying no, which I'm assuming because they was talking over each other. I rewound it 4 times, so if I'm wrong, y'all tell me. But I believe Scotty said no, she's just letting the shit go instead of letting it drag on, because I'm not about to keep fighting over and over again either. Rollie then says to Scotty, you shut up, bitch, because you barely fight. You barely even say shit. I said, Scotty, see, this is what happens. Because not even 30 minutes, maybe an hour later when y'all was filming, because y'all wearing the same clothes in the same night, you was out here delivering an eviction notice, talking on behalf of the bitch who just told you to shut the fuck up and is now giving you mouth. And now this past week, you caught hell for assisting the bullying. Not only that, you didn't do anything to stop it. And then not only that, you sitting here claiming that Slim said so much shit about Rollie that you couldn't even say yourself. And now you got the same bitch that you was sitting here going to bat for talking to you crazy. Egg on your face. Like, egg on your face. But Scotty ends up saying, like, what are you even talking about? Because she caught off guard. And Scotty says, I'm not going to fight over and over again because I'm not a fighter. And Rollie says, yeah, because you don't even fight. But we talking about Natalie's beef because Natalie always be fighting and you don't fight. I said, Scotty's at least fought this season. Natalie has not fought at all this season. So what are you talking about? Like, maybe you want to talk about previous seasons. But this season in particular, Scotty has fought more than Natalie. Natalie has not fought anybody. But Scotty ends up saying, like, what does that have to do with anything? Which I'm agreeing with her. Like, what does that have to do with anything? But Rollie ends up saying, y'all need to stop talking behind people's back and getting in people's face and not doing shit. I said, that's true. I don't like the bitch. But what she's about to say is true. I agree with what she's saying, but then I'm going to play devil's advocate in a minute. But that's true. But I know she be doing the same shit, though. I know she be talking behind people's back, too, and not saying it to their face. I don't doubt that she would say it to their face. But I guarantee she be doing the same shit. And I'm sitting there laughing, watching this, knowing her saying all this shit, knowing what's about to happen later on. But Rollie, she ends up saying that we're not going to keep fighting battles for no bitch. Talking about Natalie. We're not going to keep fighting battles for no bitch who's going to keep letting bitches slide. Even if you are the EP, you sitting here hugging bitches that we sitting here fighting for you. I said, first of all, nobody's even fought for Natalie. But what you saying is true. Because that's what I've been saying all season. That's why I've said, like, these bitches that don't want to fight Natalie and want other people to fight for her for doing things that she did, and y'all don't want to fight her because it's in her contract or she's the EP. Like I said in my, when did I say it? I think I said it last night in my report cards. If y'all didn't watch it, go watch it. Or I might have said it in the podcast. If y'all ain't watched the podcast, go watch the podcast too. Myself, January Flowers, Movie Bay Legend. We're going to be on here every week talking about stuff. So go check that out too. And subscribe to them too. But if you've gotten this far already, I'm about to do the self-promotion real quick. Thumbs up the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But I say that shit too. Like, it's true. Like, me personally, if I have an issue with you and you end up being the EP and it's in my contract and your contract to not fight that person, if you started some shit with me and I want to fight you that bad, I'm fighting you. I don't care about what stipulations there are. Like, if you got to cut my check, you got to cut my check. If you got to send me home, send me home. Like, you can't control me. You can't tell me what I can and can't do. You can't police me. But I agree with that statement that Rollie made. But what's crazy to me is Natalie was sitting there on mute. And I'm like, you letting this bitch talk to you like that? If it was anybody else, and I'm excluding Tasiki, I'm excluding Ivory, I'm going to exclude Lex, I'm going to exclude Dolly. If them bitches was talking to her like that, those are the only ones that I don't see her barking back at. But anybody else, I can see her barking back at. But for you to sit there and let her talk to you like that, it's crazy to me. And that's the thing, that's the problem too, because she lets Rollie get away with too much to where Rollie now feels like she has so much control and can do and say whatever. And that's the problem. But Rollie ends up saying that she's tired of this season and she's about to be done with these bitches. She says it in her confessionals. I said, then get off the show. But we know you won't get off the show. Because once you get off the show, you're going back to that trailer park. Because who's going to hire you? No corporation is going to hire you. I know that much. And you know this is the only way you can have steady income. That's the only way. Because you'll be back at that trailer park. But Rollie ends up saying that they're not about to keep doing the hard work while Natalie gets to do the easy work. Which is... she clocking it. But Natalie also was true too. I've done all the hard work for years. It pretty much stating like all of my reality TV career has gotten you here. Yeah, that's why I wish she would have said. Natalie should have said this. Like, even though I agree with Rollie, if I'm in Natalie's shoes and this is my show and you trying to talk to me like you ain't got no sense, and I'm trying to flex my real EP shit and like let you know that this is my shit and you're not going to disrespect me, I'd have told her, bitch, you on my show. I sign your checks, even though she don't. Lemmy does. I sign your checks. I put you on the payroll. I cast you every season. If you got a problem with what I'm doing on my show, you can get the fuck off. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. But Natalie ends up saying like every time, or everybody talks shit, but how many times you want me to keep fighting? And that's what I say too. Even though I just said that, Natalie, if you don't want to fight anymore, get off the show. You just need to be the EP. Get behind the camera. Do what you do on camera, off the camera, which is produce the show. You don't need to be on camera for that. But Natalie loves being center of attention, so she always wants to be on TV, which is why she's here. But Natalie starts screaming for Akbar to come back. Akbar comes back. Let me take a breather real quick, because we're now about to get into the Queen. The Queen is arriving. Tommie is coming out of her car, looking real good, looking like she smells like money. Natalie then addresses Biggie and says to Biggie that Biggie has said that Natalie and Akbar needed to be ready for when Tommie comes. And Biggie was like, yeah, that was 3 weeks ago when we was arguing. And Anna ends up saying for Biggie that Biggie said, y'all bitches want to argue with me, argue with a bitch that y'all had beef with. And Natalie ends up saying that's not what she said. Biggie says like she don't know what Natalie's trying to do, but she's trying to deflect from getting in the paint. And she don't want to play with Rollie because she knows Rollie will tap her. I said, Biggie, again, I don't agree with a lot of things you say, but you're right. Because you think about it, and that kind of is what I wanted to elaborate on, but I wanted to wait till I got to this point. Natalie, we all know what happened when Natalie fought Rollie. We do. Rollie cannot fight, but Rollie got the best of Natalie. She ended up fucking Natalie's eye up at their reunion with them slap boxing, because Rollie don't fight. Rollie does this. And she just throws her weight around. But Natalie is just clumsy, which is crazy because she played collegiate level soccer and ran track with the Allison Felix. So I don't understand how she always falling around. But Biggie, she then mentions Jaden for what, I don't know, living rent free. But Jaden says, why are you mentioning me? I ain't got nothing to do with this. Tasiki then gets up and says that Biggie is not arguing. Pretty much taking up for Biggie. For the people that say that Tasiki don't back up Biggie, she got in front of Biggie and said she's not arguing. Pretty much taking up for her. But Tommie finally arrives and joins them. She comes in saying, hey, she got a bag. She got gifts. She goes over to give Jaden a gift. She's giving Natalie and Biggie gifts, which is packs of weed. And Jasmine in her confessional says, I ain't no fake bitch. Tommie look good as fuck. And she came out here giving out gifts and packs of weed. I'm happy to see this bitch. That's why I love Jasmine. People say she ain't funny. She is funny, naturally. But Tommie and Akbar, they address each other. And Akbar says she got her shoes off because she don't know what type of time Tommie on. And if they got to squabble, that's what they got to do. Akbar then says, like, we're both grown. We've seen each other out. There was no smoke. Tommie said, yeah, we saw each other at the Super Bowl. And Akbar is talking about their conversation that they had on the conversation. And Tommie was like, it's some TV shit. Like, it was heat in the day. Or it was heat that day. And Natalie is sitting over there cracking up. Natalie laughing. Natalie got a laugh that will naturally make you laugh. Her laugh is contagious. But Akbar ends up saying that she felt as adults, you don't have to throw anything. Because in the conversations, Tommie was throwing stuff. If y'all fighting, what you expect? But Akbar ends up saying that, and Tommie was like, right, that day was a little hectic for me amongst my team, and I'm sure you knew I was going through some shit that day that was totally and completely different than what we were going through. And Tommie ends up saying that she had gotten out of jail and she was dealing with her therapist. Natalie is still sitting over there laughing, and Tommie sees it and says, Natalie, we trying to have a conversation. And just how I laughed, that's what Tommie did. Tommie over there laughing too. Talking about we trying to have a real conversation. Tommie, no, they ain't trying to have a real conversation. Tommie is doing what she's there to do. That was funny. But Akbar, she ends up saying, we need to pray. Y'all know how I feel about that. God, don't bring God into Baddies. There is demons and devil spirit all up and through there. Don't bring him in there. Don't bring him. Y'all need. But she starts doing it, and everybody's sitting there laughing and stuff, not taking shit serious. But Tommie ends up saying, you don't know me. Akbar says, you don't know me. Tommie says, I don't, but you don't know me. And Akbar says, well, we got into a fight. Tommie says, that means you know me? Like, bitch, I'm like, exactly. Like, that don't mean you know me. You can fight me and still not know me. But Akbar says, I know of you. We don't know each other. Tommie said, exactly. I'm like, get her, Tommie. But Tommie says, like, why are you so hyped? You just finished praying. I said, exactly. I said, because the devil is present. That's why. But they start going back and forth. Tommie then says, and starts talking about the issue that they had at the studio. I couldn't follow what they were saying. It was too much back and forth about some shit that I didn't really understand, and there was a lot of unfinished sentences, so I couldn't really tell you where they were going to connect it. But Tommie starts essentially saying, like, you didn't bring me here to Zeus. I'm always a special guest. Y'all already know. I'm a special guest. But Rollie, fiending for a moment, you should have sat your ass down there and shut the fuck up. But she starts talking about how Tommie is a weirdo looking like she about to shoot a porn. I said, everything Tommie is wearing costs probably more than anything you own. Anyways, Akbar ends up saying, what is it that you want to say? Do you want to apologize? Tommie said, huh? Like, bitch, apologize for what? And who did you expect to give you an apology? Because you know damn well Tommie Lee ain't giving it to you. But Tommie walks around and says, this shit is too corny. I'm like, exactly. I've been saying that all season. But she unbothered. Chill. Like, they want it out of her, but she ain't giving it to him. Like, she just, y'all look stupid. That's just what Tommie's doing. She giving them conversation, but she don't really care. But she stated her side of what happened at the studio. Natalie's like, did y'all even fight? Tommie said it was 2 seconds, which is not a fight. But Akbar apparently was claiming that Tommie was on the floor, getting beat up and whatnot. Tommie says you're delusional. And Tommie ends up saying, I gave you a whole career. Nobody spoke on you in Atlanta. Like, before me, you was nobody. And you know that. We all know that. Akbar ends up saying that she don't. Pretty much saying, like, I don't know that. But they start talking about who was who in Atlanta and yada, yada, yada. But Rollie's big ass is still interjecting because she wants to have a moment with Tommie so bad. So she ends up talking about how Tommie needs to stop drinking because we can't understand what she's saying. We can clearly understand what she's saying, and she's not drunk in the moment, clearly. But Tommie ends up saying maybe you should stop smoking so you can stop all that fucking lying. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? But Rollie ends up saying Tommie will do anything for a check. That's it says the bitch that was rolling around in Alfredo sauce on Jerry Springer, telling Tommie she'll do anything for a check. Tommie gets paid y'all remember last season? The 2 days she filmed Caribbean, she got paid $250,000. Y'all do the math. Per day, she's making essentially what Rollie makes for a whole season of the show. There's levels to this shit. There's levels to this baddie shit that you cannot get to. And Tommie ends up saying, really? It looks like we're doing the same thing. The only difference is our wages. I said, clear. But Rollie ends up saying, the last time I saw you was getting carried out by your wig. And Tommie said, yeah, my wig was getting snatched from behind me. Some sucker shit. I said, Tommie's just, she tearing him up just effortlessly. But Rollie is claiming that she whooped Tommie. Tommie said, what did you do? Like, you whooped me. What did you do? She ain't whoop her. But Tommie ends up saying, like, you girls need a mental health analysis. They do. Like, they need all of that. All of that. But Rollie, and a psych test, they need that too. But Rollie ends up saying, you need a therapist and an addict recovery place. And I started typing down what she needs. She needs a job. She needs a personal trainer. She needs a nutritionist. She needs a nutritionist. She needs a stylist, a dentist for them teeth. She needs a beautician. She needs a dermatologist. I can go on for days and days. Like, you talking about what she need. We can talk about what you need. But Tommie said, let me write this down. Like, just playing with it. And Akbar then says, like, Tommie be too drunk and high. Tommie says, I'm grown. And telling them to calm down because both Rollie and Akbar are talking at one time. She got them that bothered that they both just trying to talk. And she said, it's too loud. Be quiet. Tommie's not bothered by them. But Akbar then tells Tommie, this is what you need to do. Don't throw nothing. Tommie said, oh. The beats in the background start bumping. I said, oh, shit, it's coming. It's coming. And Rollie's sitting there saying, y'all sitting here talking. Y'all could have done this over the phone. Tommie says, what would you like to happen? I said, is this for a shadow? Rollie says, we can't go to the club because we dealing with your drunk ass and it's GD. I don't cuss and say God at the same time. But Rollie does. In this GD school outfit looking like you wearing your daughter's shit. Tommie says it's Tom Brown. Tom Brown, look it up. Look it up, Rollie. You talking about this schoolgirl outfit. You in a skirt. Do you understand what she's wearing? You don't understand because you can't afford it. You claim you a baddie, but if you was a baddie, you would realize material. But the difference is, and you will realize quality when you see it. The shit you wear is not quality because you can't afford what she got on. You can't afford it. You claim you such a baddie. You claim you got all this money. You don't look like it. You don't dress like it. You don't carry yourself like it. You put all that money into your body and you still look the same. You still look the same. It's like, it's crazy. Rollie trying to read somebody, it always ricochets back to her. You can, everything she says to her, to somebody, you can always apply it back to her. It's just crazy. But Tommie says 5,500, and that's just on the fit. Flex on him. I said, you put a flex on him. But Rollie's big ass gets up because Tommie was walking towards her, and Tommie says, you can sit down. You need to. But Rollie says, I'll knock your ass the fuck down. You and your bodyguard will end up in this pit because they got the fire pit. And she says, I'll roast the bunny today. And y'all know Tommie holding that bunny, which has her friend in there. I said, you don't know what's coming your way. But Dolly is respecting Tommie's gangster. She's sitting here arguing with two bitches at one time. Like, it's respect. And you could tell Dolly respect Tommie. Dolly ain't the type to give just respect to anybody. Even though I've said what I've said about Dolly ducking Tasiki and Tinkabellaaa right now, we all know she will fight them. It's just the fact that she won't fight Paula is what's aggravating me. I don't think Dolly is scared of anybody on the show. Truth be told. Even though I'm saying she's ducking Tasiki and Tink, I don't think she's scared of either one of them. I don't. But you can tell Dolly respects a real nigga when she see one, and that's Tommie. Because she, Dolly, like I said, Dolly out of her trio is the one I like the most and has the most potential to be likable. But Rollie, she ends up starting to talk about Tommie's fillers and her lips. I'm like, Tommie ain't even tripping at her because she's sitting here talking about Tommie's appearance, and Tommie's not tripping because it's like, why would I even get bothered by a bitch that look like Rollie talking about the way that I look? Somebody that look like me, this bitch talking about how I need to fix this and that. You are a walking reed. You're a breathing reed. But Tommie's not giving her no energy. But Akbar is saying, still talking about this fight. And Tommie says, okay, we fought. What else? Next? What's next? Exactly. Like, shut up. And she's still talking about nonsense, Akbar. But Biggie ends up saying that she wants Tommie to smack the shit out of Akbar again. 3 times today, I'm agreeing with Biggie. I agree. I want her to, too. But Tommie says, I'm not about to keep doing this, keep talking with y'all. What the fuck are we doing? Rollie and Akbar ends up saying, whatever you want to do. I said, y'all don't want what she wants to do. But Tommie's in the camera showing off, saying, look at my lips. While Rollie's sitting over there talking about Tommie came to get a quick check. I said, is that a problem? Her quick check is your entire season's worth of check. That's the difference. She gets $250K for showing up for 2 days because she's that girl. She brings that type of energy. Like, Rollie ends up saying, like, she can come in saying that Tommie came to get the check off of their names. Tommie started laughing like, bitch. Like, Tommie Lee came to get the check off of your name on this show. Laughable. It's laughable because I know y'all can vouch for me when I'm about to say this. a lot of us that have said unanimously that this season is awful, the only reason a lot of us are still watching this shit is because we knew Tommie was coming. They can thank Tommie for these subscriptions right now, because I guarantee you half or maybe more than half of these subscriptions would have been canceled if Tommie was not here. If we didn't know that Tommie was coming to do what Tommie did. So y'all can thank Tommie for your show still getting the views and the traction and the attention that it's getting. Because that's the only reason why people are still watching. Granted, what happens later on is also a reason of what people's watching, but it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Tommie. Tommie created and shifted the rest of the storylines for the season. It's funny. Like, and Tommie starts laughing and says, "You're delusional," and it is. And she is. And Anna was laughing. Now, I don't know if y'all caught it, but Anna was laughing because she knows Tommie telling the truth. But Scotty then starts asking about the bunny. Tommie says, "Oh, she just had an accident." Tommie goes over and gives Scotty a hug. And Scotty's saying in her confessionals that she noticed the bunny had a slit in it and was like, "Check the bunny." It's funny how Scotty is the only one that always catches Tommie with her weapons. Because she caught Tommie at that reunion on Baddies West with the taser in her phone. But Tommie ends up saying, "So y'all got this off your chest? You got it off your chest talking to Akbar?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did." Somebody asked, like, "Is everybody cool?" And Tink says, "No, we ain't cool." Tommie said, "I don't even know her." I said, fan shit. Like, just like Legs. Coming on the show, trying to fight Jayla, impress Jayla about some shit. Like, I don't even know you, bitch. Like, why are you talking to me? But Tink ends up saying, "Y'all both need to fight." Akbar is walking around to Tommie at this point. And Tommie says, like, "If you want to fight, that's it." Tink says, Tink ends up saying Akbar's not about to, and she's saying this in her confessional, Akbar's not about to do anything, and this is my other enemy. I said, first of all, in order for you to have an enemy, the beef has to be mutual. She has to equally agree that she don't really fuck with you like that and has that type of smoke. So it's not your enemy. Tommie don't know you. This is fan shit. It's a one-sided beef. But Tink ends up saying that her issue with Tommie is that Tommie was telling Meatball pretty much at the reunion when her and Meatball finished fighting and Meatball was about to crash out, telling her to let Tink crash out. If what you were saying is true and real, let her do the shit. She gave her some real advice in that moment. But Akbar ends up steady talking and explaining herself to Tommie, saying, like, "I wasn't coming over here to try and sneak you or whatever." And Tommie's like, "So if I'm walking off the set, you walking off the set?" She said, "Yeah." Tink ends up starting to walk up, talking about, "Why y'all not fighting?" And this is when it happens. Tommie slowly pulls out the BB and says, Oh, and gives her. When I tell you I hollered laughing, because guess what? Rollie went boom booking it. Akbar went boom booking it. Two bitches that was talking was the first two jetting for a BB. A BB. Not the real thing, a BB. But they talk about they so gangster and so real and so about that different. She spooked them. She spooked them. And of course, Jayla and Natalie went falling over because Rollie big ass is knocking them over. But everybody's shook at this point. Security's pouncing on Tommie. Scotty is screaming, "I told y'all something in the bunny." Natalie and Jayla, like I said, they over there still on the ground, shell-shocked about what just happened. Tinkabellaaa is now talking about how she got shot by a BB. I'm like, mind your business next time. Stop trying to force an issue with somebody that you don't know. And then, well, you do know of Tommie. So you know what type of time she on. She got 38 mugshots for a reason. You know certain shit like this can happen when it comes to her. But Tink ends up saying that she on her ass now. And Nunu cracked me up. This fucking confessional. This is why I say Nunu is, she top tier. Nunu is top tier this season. She said all I heard was pop, pop, pop. And I was like, oh, this bitch out here shooting us. I felt like 50 Cent. I died. But security is barricading Tommie at this point. Because Tommie, they like, okay, she just got the pop in it. And we don't know what's in this thing. So Tink is sitting there trying to get to her, talking about something. Why y'all protecting her? Why y'all protecting her? They're not protecting her. They're protecting y'all. Because they don't know what else she got. And Paula talks about how she been shot twice, saying it's not cool. Rollie is out by the sprinter. Scary ass. Sitting there swearing she about that life. But you the only one out there. Far away from Tommie, you the only one out there. But she ends up having a bottle in her hand. I guess she's trying to take that to crack Tommie with. But Tink runs up on Tommie. This was hilarious. You run up on Tommie. She runs up on Tommie to try and do something. But she ends up in a headlock. Keep in mind, Tinkabellaaa is wearing what looks to be night gear, if you want to ask me. Full mobility. She ain't got nothing. I don't even think she had shoes on. Full mobility. When I say mobility, she has equal room to do whatever she wants. If she wanted to do jumping jacks, she would have full mobility to do it. Tommie is wearing all of this shit. Chains on, iced out, heels. She tried to swing on Tommie, and Tommie pulled it back and got her ass in a headlock. Headlock. You didn't like that one, did you? She didn't. Because Tommie had her gripped up. Security trying to get her off of her. She said, nah, bitch, this is what you wanted. Tommie had her like, Tommie owned him. This is Tommie shit. Like, this is Tommie shit. Take Baddies off and put Tommie shit here. But, damn funny. But they show Akbar running. They show a flashback of that. They had me laughing. Tinkabellaaa ends up saying that she didn't want to hear no more gangster shit from Akbar. I said, you need to say it to Rollie too. She said, because Akbar took off running. Rollie did too. I will say one thing about Tinkabellaaa. She might be on that type of time because Tinkabellaaa stood there and took her shots. She ain't run. She ain't move. She went straight back to where she wanted to get it. So I give Tinkabellaaa that gangster real nigga shit. Respect. But Tommie had them spooked over a BB, and that's what had me laughing. But Tink gets loose. She trying to get to Tommie at this point. Tommie took that heel off, and she ready to crack her shit. But security's restraining her. Rollie's outside talking about Tommie's a weird bitch, and what bitch is going to bring a BB. I said one is trying to spook y'all, and it's about that life, because we all know that she got a real one. And she's like, who brings a BB to a fist fight? Talking about how she's an old bitch and she's scary. First of all, a fight with you was never a fist fight, because you don't fight with your fists closed. You fight like this. That's slap boxing. Like, ain't nobody, Tommie ain't scared of you. But Rollie then says that Tommie needs to worry about them botched ass lips. I'm like, again, you talking about how somebody looks. We can go all day about what you need to get fixed, starting with them knock knees. But Tommie ends up, Tommie's in the house now, and Rollie's outside talking about Tommie's not leaving the house. And Rollie ends up giving security the bottle to go back inside. And Jayla's talking about she feared for her life. That shit's not cool. Rollie's crashing out, throwing a chair, ended up hitting Nunu. Nunu, you got to run her that. Because the way it hit her, you'd have had to see me. But next week, we get the fallout. Like I said, Tommie done turned the show on his head. Now we have different storylines. We got Natalie trying to check Biggie. Scotty telling Natalie and Jayla that Rollie and Tinkabellaaa are upset because they were laughing. Natalie says she'll do it again and laugh at it because it was funny. Jayla says she don't give a fuck. And Scotty sitting there telling Jayla, you're loud. Jayla said, I don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody scared of them bitches, Scotty. But, and especially not Jayla when it comes to Rollie. Like, she already beat her ass. But Tinkabellaaa and Rollie, they in the car talking about them wounds. Like, y'all should have minded y'all's business. And it's karma. It's karma, especially for you, Rollie. But Rollie versus Natalie, that happens. Ivory's back. They're in Hawaii. We all know this is where the season ends. Thank God. And the rest of the season, we got Summer versus Scotty and Anna. Anna let Summer pop her, and Scotty popped on her. And they jumping her at this point. And guess what? I'm not mad about it, because guess who's been jumping all season? Summer. Karma's a bitch. Karma is coming around. 42 minutes, y'all. This was the only episode this season that I've actually been excited and anticipating. That's why you got a long one. But if you haven't already, thumbs up the video. Get down there in the comments. We're on the road to 10K. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out all my latest uploads. I just did Baddies MidWest report card mid-season. I'm going to do a final grading after the reunion. But also go check out the podcast with myself, Movie Bay Legend, and January Flowers. It's on my live portion. Go shout that out. Go thumbs it up. Drop a comment down below. We're going to be doing that every single week. We'll talk about Zeus shit, but we mainly going to be talking about, like, current events, shit that's going on in the world, entertainment, anything outside of Zeus too, other reality shows, anything that's just hot topics during the week. And we're just having a conversation too. Y'all call in, talk to us as well. And yeah, we're going to be on January Flowers' page next week. So subscribe to her as well as to Movie Band Legend, because we'll be on those the following weeks. And we'll be back over here next month. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow on the live with Movie Band Legend. Peace.